morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us this morning. My name is Jessie Sunner. I'm the Minister of Post-Secondary Education and Future Skills and the proud MLA for Surrey Newton. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that today we are gathered on the traditional territories of the Coast Salish peoples, including the Kwantlen, the Katsi, the Samiamu, and the Tsawwassen First Nations. I want to thank Kwantlen for hosting us today, especially here at your tech campus. And we are here today to highlight how investments in skilled trades training are creating opportunities for people in Surrey and right across the Lower Mainland by building the workforce that our region needs. Today, you'll be hearing from our Premier David Eby, Mike Mann, an instructor and chair of the electrical department here at KPU, and Brandon Payne, the first-year apprentice in construction electrical trades at KPU. So without further ado, I welcome Premier Eby to tell us more.
Thanks, Jessie. It's great to see everybody, and it's great to be here in Surrey. You can see behind me the beautiful new Surrey Hospital reaching up for the sky. It looks to me like the largest provincial health investment south of the Fraser ever in provincial history. And it looks, I was looking at it, looks like it's on time and on budget, which is a delightful thing as well. I want to thank Fraser Health for their hard work on this and all the workers that are up there right now delivering that project. It's an impressive piece of work, and we need it open as soon as possible for all those grads from the brand new Surrey Medical School that it has their first intake this September. I'm a little charged up because I'm driving into Cloverdale here today. On the way to KPU, I saw the new Surrey Langley SkyTrain well under construction. We drove past the beautiful Cloverdale ice rinks funded in part by the Building Communities Fund from the province of British Columbia. And now here at the hospital, lots of exciting things happening here in Surrey. And one more exciting announcement about what's underway south of Fraser here with our friends at KPU. I want to congratulate and thank them on today's important announcement. Today's announcement takes place against a backdrop of a really challenging time for the world and for Canada and for British Columbia. Our longtime trading partner, the United States, has a leader that is committed to attacking core industries in British Columbia, specifically our forest sector and our forest product sector for reasons unknown, in order to increase imports of softwood from Russia and Europe. It is an unusual and bizarre strategy, but it's not unique to British Columbia. It's something that's being faced by jurisdictions around the world. For Canada, I think as Canadians, we've recognized that this moment is one, whether it's the impacts of the trade war President Trump has unleashed on us, or the actual war that he has unleashed on Iran that's driving up costs for people around the world and created uncertainty around energy supply and supply chains. For us as Canadians, for us as British Columbians, now is the moment to ensure that we do what previous generations talked about but never took the steps to do, which was to decrease our dependence on the United States, to build up our province and build up our country and build up our people, using the advantages that Canada has, that our province has, to be able to have strong relationships and diversified relationships around the world. That is the context of today's announcement. That is the crucial work that we're doing, whether it's across Canada, getting rid of trade barriers so we can trade with each other as easily as we trade with the United States, our overseas trade missions, and our work to drive investment here at home in Canada and in British Columbia. On that front, we have made some great strides. $88 billion in investments in the next 24 months coming to final investment decision in British Columbia. These are significant investments in energy, whether it's electricity or low emission LNG, around the logistics and trade infrastructure of our province, including massive expansions in our ports so that we can facilitate getting Canadian goods to international markets. That is incredibly exciting news. And even just this week, we had a multi-billion-dollar announcement from Fortis in the Tilbury LNG fueling facility in Richmond. That is going to provide a significant number of jobs in construction, reduce emissions from the shipping sector, in British Columbia and ensure that our ports remain competitive as ships around the world transition to LNG away from diesel and bunker fuel. All fantastic news, all very exciting, but we need the people to benefit here in British Columbia from those projects. And how do we do that? We need to make sure they have the skills and the ability to take the jobs that are being created. These projects create revenue for the provincial government to pay for public services, but they also create jobs for British Columbians. But they're jobs for British Columbians that depend on them having the skills to be able to take them. We have a challenge with youth unemployment in this country and in British Columbia. When you have a group of people that are looking for jobs, unable to find them, and a group of employers looking for skilled people, the obvious answer is to provide those folks, those young people who are looking for jobs with the skilled trades training that they need to take those jobs. And that's what today's announcement is about. Today, we are announcing 460 new trades training places here at KPU Surrey that will support young people in taking these jobs that are being created through the government's efforts to drive investment in British Columbia. That means that every year, 460 more people will be graduating with the skills that they need to take high-paying jobs that are going to support them and their families and a vibrant life here in British Columbia. It is exciting work, and I want to thank our friends at KPU for being able to move quickly. We announced the $250 million in the budget to fund these spaces, and we turned to the post-secondary sector and said, how many spaces can you bring on and how quickly? KPU, and specifically KPU Surrey, was able to bring on 460 spaces this academic year to move people from wait lists into classrooms to the job site, helping to build our province for the next generation, which is exactly what we're doing with the project behind me and the major private sector investments that are taking place in every corner of British Columbia. Thank you again to KPU. Thank you to Minister Jessie Sunner and her team in advanced education for helping deliver this. And I can't wait to see these grads showing up on job sites as apprentices, getting the skills that they need, and building the province that every British Columbian deserves, and that will support our entire country in this project of increasing Canada's dependence, diversifying our trade relationships, and getting us ready to realize our full potential as a province and as a country. With that, I'll pass it back to Minister Sunner. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Premier Eby, not just for this announcement, but for speaking to how much investment is happening across Surrey and the Lower Mainland right now, and across our province, and the opportunities that lie ahead. It's great to be right here in Surrey today to make this announcement today at KPU's Tech Campus. I've made many announcements across the province, and when you do it in your own hometown, it's a little bit more special and wonderful. So thank you, everyone, for being here. I'm also joined today by my colleague, Minister Jagroop Brar, and we know that, along with our other colleagues, that the growth in Surrey is exponential. We know that as Surrey continues to grow, our needs continue to grow just as quickly. From new neighborhoods, schools, SkyTrain projects, hospitals, healthcare facilities, these are all taking shape right around us. As Premier Eby mentioned, you can take one 10-minute drive through just a corner of Surrey and you'll see all of these projects well on their way to completion. As is the hospital right behind us. The new Surrey Hospital and Cancer Centre is well underway, and these are projects that don't just happen on their own. They're built by skilled tradespeople, electricians, plumbers, construction workers, mechanics, and countless other trades professionals whose work helps turn plans into places that serve our communities for years and decades to come. These aren't just buildings, they're the hospitals we depend on in our time of need. And when we have that infrastructure, it keeps our communities connected. This is why our government is committed to not only building the infrastructure British Columbians need, but training the people right here to build it. This is what today's announcement is all about. Recently, our government announced a historic $241 million investment into the skilled trades. And this is why we are highlighting this investment today, because what it means for different parts of the province is different, and what it means for Surrey and Lower Mainland is really important as well. This year in the Lower Mainland and in southwestern BC, we will see an additional 1,166 new trades training seats being added to public and union trainers across the region. This includes KPU adding 462 seats, bringing the total number of seats here at KPU to 1,762 seats. These new seats will help to reduce wait lists, expand apprenticeship, and give people the chance to pursue rewarding careers in the skilled trades. This expansion includes training opportunities in high-demand occupations, but it's not just limited to, but it includes the trades such as construction electricians, millwrights, plumbers, and construction craft workers. And this is an important investment, not just for Surrey, but across our province. Through Look West, BC is seeing real economic momentum. As the Premier mentioned, there are major projects moving forward in every corner of our province in clean energy, critical minerals, transportation, marine infrastructure, and construction. Over the next decade, BC is expecting more than 1 million job opportunities, with 680,000 of those job opportunities happening right here in this region. And skilled trade workers will be a major source of that demand. We know that Surrey is one of the fastest growing communities in our country, and employers across the Lower Mainland are continuing to tell us that they need skilled trades workers. And at the same time, many people in our communities are looking for stable, good paying, family supporting careers. And this announcement and investment in the trades will allow us to do both. These additional seats across our province will create more opportunities for students and apprentices that are trying to access training closer to home. It will reduce wait lists and connect more people with in-demand, good-paying careers right at home. And they will help ensure that employers have access to the skilled workforce they need to keep our economy strong and in our communities growing. When we invest in trades training, we invest in people, we invest in their futures, and we invest in the long-term success and prosperity of our province. I want to thank KPU, Skilled Trades BC, instructors, employers, industry partners for their role in building the next generation of skilled tradespeople right here in our province. Their partnership opens doors for students while supporting growing workforce needs for our budding region. But most importantly, I want to thank the students and apprentices who are choosing a career in the skilled trades. Whether you're just starting your training, continuing your apprenticeship journey, or making a mid-career change, stepping into the trades here in BC is essential for our province's future. This announcement today means more opportunities for people in Surrey and across the Lower Mainland to gain the skills that they need for an in-demand career. I want to thank you all again for being here. And next up, I'd like to invite Mike Mann, the instructor and chair of the electrical department here at KPU, to share his thoughts on this announcement.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of KPU Faculty of Trades and Technology, I'd like to thank the province of BC for this investment in skilled trades education. This investment creates opportunities for students who want to build rewarding careers, and it helps employers find the skilled people they need to build our homes, maintain our infrastructure, and keep our communities running. Today's announcement of 462 new training seats is more than just a number. It means we'll be able to reduce our wait lists and get more students into our shops and classrooms sooner. As an instructor, one of the hardest conversations is telling someone who's ready to start that there just isn't a seat available. Thanks to today's announcement, we'll have to have that conversation a lot less. On behalf of everyone at KPU, thank you for investing in trades education and in the people who will help build BC's future. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mike. And we really spoke to the heart of what this announcement is for. We want people across our province to know that when they're ready to take on a career in the trades, that there is a seat that's waiting for them. And we don't want to have them bogged down by years of wait lists. And that is exactly what this announcement does. And again, thank you to KPU for stepping up and being able to add these additional 462 seats in this first year of this funding. Last but certainly not least, I welcome Brandon Payne, who is a first-year apprentice in the construction electrical trades here at KPU, to share what this announcement means to him.
Hello, my name is Brandon. I'm a first-year electrical construction apprentice here at KPU. Thank you very much for letting me speak today. For this news release, there's a tremendous demand in the industry for AI and automated technology, which creates a huge demand for up-and-coming apprentices to work out in the field. And I'm extremely excited and privileged to be able to come to KPU and be able to be fortunate to make it through the wait list and attend here and further my education. With the opening of new seats, that will allow many more like me, before me, and after me to come through and accomplish the same thing as me and make BC proud and strong and create a great foundation for all new apprentices. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to Brandon. In every corner of this province where we've gone and spoken with students, that's exactly what Brandon said is what it's about. Having the opportunity to get into the trades, having the opportunity to build a life in the communities you've grown up in, and have those good paying, stable, family supporting jobs so you can also build a life right here in your own home communities. So again, I just want to thank all of you for being with us today and allowing us to highlight this investment and what it means for Surrey and the local community here in the Lower Mainland. We're grateful for the commitment and collaboration, and we look forward to working together to build a stronger and more resilient British Columbia. It's now time for the media Q&A portion of the program. I'll ask the Premier to please come, and Sachin, I believe go ahead.
Thanks, Jessie. Just before we get into the questions, this is a challenging time for a number of people in the southeast of the province, Clinton and Boston Bar, related to the wildfire evacuations in those communities. And I understand a number of people in Clinton may be hearing that they've lost homes or other structures, businesses in the region today. First of all, I just want to say I know all British Columbians are thinking of those folks right now, and knowing with the wildfire seasons we've had, that this threat is present in every corner of the province, and our hearts go out to the people who are hearing that horrible news. And we know that those communities are strong, and we'll be standing with them in the rebuilding process as needed. The other pieces, I'd like to thank our wildland firefighters who are out there on the front lines. Absolutely heroic work to save what appears to be most of the community of Clinton. And we'll be looking for updates from them about impacts of the fire, but the scale and scope of the fire that they faced threatening that community, and their heroism in working overnight to battle flames and preserve as much as possible was nothing short of heroic. And I want to thank them for their efforts and their continuing efforts through the rest of the fire season. With that, happy to take any questions you may have.
Thank you, Premier, and thank you, Minister, and thank you everyone for joining us here today in Surrey. We're going to take questions from the media now. All members of the media called upon will have one question and one follow-up. For media on the phone line, please remember to press *1 to enter the queue and to unmute yourself when called upon. And we're going to start on the phone line today with Rob Buffum from CTV. Go ahead, Rob.
Oh, hi. Thanks for taking my question, Premier. I just wanted to get your reaction coming out of last week's meeting with all the premiers. You know, we've heard since that Danielle Smith in Alberta has said she's not going to look at, removing alcohol from Alberta's shelves, a measure that you've taken and Doug Ford and many other premiers, seemingly with some success, because it certainly got the attention of Donald Trump and his administration. What's your reaction? Because we heard there's this really unified Team Canada approach to the upcoming tariffs, yet we're not really seeing that in action. Are you concerned that, for example, you and Danielle Smith are not on the same page?
I think that one of the strengths of our approach as premiers has been that across the country, there have been slightly different levels of engagement with the U.S. administration. It creates a channel for communication. It creates the opportunity for advocacy. And that, while unplanned, has been one of the benefits of different approaches. I'll say this for British Columbia. While our forest families are under direct attack by the president, who has imposed draconian tariffs on our wood products in order to apparently facilitate imports to the United States from Russia and Europe instead of from Canada, we will never put U.S. alcohol back on the shelves. And I think that approach for British Columbia is the right approach. I understand the Conservatives had their quiet meeting with the ambassador of the United States and have come out and said that we should get rid of the only leverage that appears to be catching the attention of the president by putting U.S. alcohol back on the shelves. I couldn't disagree more. I think that would sell out forest families for nothing. It is a disgraceful approach for British Columbia. And I don't understand the logic of it, except through the lens of the culture war that the Conservatives seem totally committed to over all other things. We'll stand strong for British Columbia families, for forest families, for people who work in our wood products sector. And we're going to insist that those sectors be part of any final agreement with the United States and continue to support the crucial work being done by the federal government for a broad trade agreement with the United States. And I hope that we'll be able to get there. In the meantime, we've got to diversify and ensure that we're less dependent on the U.S., and that's what today's announcement is about.
And Rob, do you have a follow-up?
I do. It's kind of a two-parter. I'm hoping you can weigh in, first of all, on the Angus Reid poll out last week that showed your approval rating had declined from the spring. I think it was at 27%. An approval rating number that came out subsequent to that agreement you had where you protected the oil tanker ban and got billions of dollars for the Massey Tunnel. Were you surprised that your approval rating had declined following that agreement? And if you're able to weigh in on reports I've seen this morning and yesterday about the Conservative Party instructing its caucus or advising them to refer to First Nations people not as First Nations but as Indigenous or Indian.
Yeah, Rob, I guess I wouldn't have constructed the poll the way the Angus Reid people did. That was not a pipeline agreement with the federal government. That was a $20 billion historic agreement for BC projects, including our ports, mines, crucial infrastructure like the Massey Tunnel, that is going to deliver benefits to British Columbians and finally recognizes BC's crucial role in driving the Canadian economy. I'm standing in front of the Minister of Mines. I got a text message this morning from the Premier of New Brunswick, who was sharing with me a photograph of a load of structural steel for the Eskay Creek mine. When we approved the Eskay Creek mine, that mine that's now under construction, we didn't just create jobs for BC workers. We didn't just create jobs for British Columbians. We created jobs right across the Canadian economy, all the way out to New Brunswick. That is the work that British Columbians are doing, and that is the work that was recognized by the agreement. So when Angus Reid says to people, do you agree with this pipeline agreement? Maybe the pipeline will get built, maybe not. But do you agree with $20 billion in federal support flowing to British Columbians, the largest investment of this kind of federal dollars in British Columbia in our province's history? I think you would have seen a different result. Now, on the second part of your question, Rob, and I appreciate the opportunity to weigh in on this, there are two different proposals for the direction of our province that are emerging. For our piece, as the government of British Columbia, you see it in the multi-billion-dollar investment that was just announced by Fortis in Richmond. You see it in today's trades training announcement. You see it in the fact that British Columbia now has more doctors per capita than any province in Canada, more family doctors per capita than any province in Canada, that we're recruiting hundreds of American healthcare workers. The rents are falling faster here than anywhere else in the country, that we're building or expanding 38 hospitals, including the beautiful new hospital behind us, the Surrey Langley SkyTrain. We are building our province for the next generation. That's one approach. The other approach is that the big issue of our time is the culture war, and that all of our attention should be going into the culture war. That we, from the perspective of the BC Conservatives, that whether we call First Nations people in this province First Nations or Indians is the number one concern. This is the product of a leader of the Conservatives, Carrie Lynn Findlay, who in her leadership campaign had as a central issue that she wanted to repeal the Human Rights Code in British Columbia, but neglected to explain how she was going to recruit more doctors and deliver more affordable housing in our province. If you think that American-style culture wars, that calling First Nations people Indians, repealing the Human Rights Code is going to ensure prosperity for your kids and deliver the kind of province that you want, you now have a party to vote for, the BC Conservatives. But if you think that training people for the jobs and investment that you're bringing in partnership with First Nations, in partnership with communities across the province, diversifying away from the United States instead of engaging in secret and quiet meetings with the ambassador and giving away all our leverage, you know, if you think that we should be building our province, then you have a party, and that's the BC NDP. I think it's a very compelling choice for British Columbians. I don't doubt that there are people out there who think that the BC Human Rights Code repeal is the number one issue that any leader should be thinking about right now, but they are a very small minority. The vast majority of British Columbians believe that we have to be building our province right now. We have to be diversifying, and we have to be training the next generation, and we have to be bringing people in to build up a strong healthcare system. And that's what we're focused on, and that's what we're going to continue to focus on.
Next, we'll head to Ben O'Hara-Byrne with Global News.
Thanks, Premier. We know that one of the big problems within the skilled trades right now isn't necessarily the lack of new people coming in. It's the lack of experienced people coming in, the number of people retiring. What have you done of late, including with your meeting with the Prime Minister last week, to reinforce the idea that what BC really needs to make sure that these major projects go forward is a lot more highly skilled, trained workers who are already available to sort of people who already have those skills?
Yeah, I think this is an important question, and my message to the Prime Minister was nuanced on the issue of immigration. British Columbia saw a huge spike in temporary residents here in the province under previous immigration structures by the federal government. Temporary foreign workers with no path to citizenship, and a massive spike in international students with associated work permits. Lots of benefits that came from that, lots of challenges. Housing-related shortages, infrastructure-related shortages as we try to keep up with the massive growth in our population here. Now we've gone to the complete other side, which is immigration door has been dramatically reduced through our provincial nominee program in the province, which means that we are missing opportunities to bring in some of the best and brightest from around the world, American healthcare workers other than doctors and nurses that want to flee that jurisdiction and come work in British Columbia. We'd like to bring more of them. We're limited in doing that. We need an immigration approach that is consistent with where we've been previously, and that was my message to the Prime Minister, really valuing and prioritizing those high-skilled streams into the province, while recognizing that temporary foreign workers with no path to citizenship, filling roles while we have high youth unemployment, is not a sustainable approach. I would like to see those workers in our province who are working, who are contributing to communities, who have set down roots here. I'd like to see them have a path to citizenship. They don't currently have that. We can't offer that to them, and I don't like that. The second thing is I would like to be able to send a message to those people around the world who are highly skilled, who are keen to come here and help build our province, that they have a place here in British Columbia, and we cannot do that with the current numbers we have in our provincial nominee program. So those are the pieces that I explained to the Prime Minister are so important. It is a nuanced picture on immigration. The Prime Minister is absolutely right in the direction they've gone on low-skilled workers. But in terms of the people who are here and those high-skilled workers we'd like to be able to recruit, I think there's room for improvement and opportunity for us to move forward in a better way.
Follow-up, Ben?
Indeed. I noticed you've mentioned the Tilbury Fortis BC investment twice today, maybe 3 times. One of your ministers, Kelly Green, wrote quite a contrarian statement, put it out on Friday. And cabinet solidarity is not a thing that people talk about at the water cooler much, but we know what it means. Why were you comfortable with allowing one of your ministers to break what is a very old and long-standing tradition of cabinet solidarity?
Well, the reason why I've mentioned this investment a couple times is it is indicative of what's happening in this province. Now, if you solely were reliant on social media from the BC Conservatives for the information you received about British Columbia, you might believe that the culture war is the #1 issue in the province and that reversing it would result in significant investment. The opposite is true. We're seeing significant investment in the province of British Columbia. This recent announcement of multi-billion-dollar investment in an area that the Conservatives said was uninvestable. They literally said that. And now it's seen a $2 billion investment. It's important to point out these contradictions because the work that we're doing as a province is delivering jobs and opportunity for British Columbians. What the Conservatives are proposing would undermine that work directly and would result in a loss of jobs and a loss of opportunity when you take your eye off the prize of delivering these projects, finding a path forward with First Nations, finding a path forward with community and regulators, protecting safety while developing the economy. That's when you're able to deliver multi-billion-dollar investments like we're doing and training people to be able to take those jobs. Kelly Green is an amazing MLA. She's a huge champion for her community from the very earliest days as MLA. She has spoken out about this project and insisted on strong safety protocols for the community to ensure that the community is safe. I support Kelly being able to advocate for her community. This is an issue of crucial importance for her and her community. It is a sign, I believe, of her continued commitment to the community, that she continues to advocate on this. And there is space in our cabinet and in our caucus for dissent. There is space for disagreement. And you'll see that this approach that we've taken has caused our caucus not to shrink like the Conservatives, but to grow. And it's resulted in an approach where BC is positioned to be one of the leading, if not the leading jurisdiction for investment, jobs, and opportunity in the coming years because of the work that we're doing. So I'm grateful for Kelly's participation in our caucus and for advocacy for her community, and I hope it continues.
Next, we'll head to Vaughn Palmer with the Vancouver Sun. Go ahead, Vaughn.
Hello, Premier. How much leeway do your ministers have to publicly disagree with the decisions of the cabinet? How far can they depart from the principle of cabinet solidarity?
Well, Vaughn, this is an issue that has been important to Kelly Green as an MLA for her community for a long time. We worked together on her statements, so she was able to continue to advocating, and I supported her ability to do that.
And Vaughn, do you have a follow-up?
Yeah, it sounds to me like a very different definition of cabinet solidarity. You know why that tradition and practice has existed for a long time. Are you setting a new set of rules that anytime a minister disagrees with the decision cabinet makes, they can come out and say, I'm speaking for my constituents and I don't agree with this decision? Is that much leeway they have?
Vaughn, absolutely not. This is an issue that's been important to Kelly for a while. She's issued statements on this before, and I supported her ability to do that. We have a big tent. We got a lot of people in our caucus. The approach of the government is clear. Developing our economy, including in this area, is crucially important to the success of our province. Having a facility that can deliver LNG fuel to the next generation of ships that's already on the water is crucial for our port to be able to be successful. It's as simple as that. It will actually reduce pollution up the valley in terms of diesel and bunker fuel used by some of the ships. That'll be good news for people up the valley. It's $2 billion of investment that creates jobs and opportunity. It results in using fuel that's actually produced here in British Columbia, which creates jobs up the value chain. And Kelly Green needs to be able to speak out and insist on high safety standards for her community. These things can both be true, and they are true for this project.
Next, we'll head to Sherry with Red FM.
Good morning, Premier. With the recent investigations exposing a foreign funder network from India trying to influence BC municipal election, so what is your government doing right now to protect our local election from foreign interference?
Well, the big challenge that we have around foreign interference in elections, foreign interference in British Columbia, is that many of these issues fall under the federal government's responsibility. The foreign agent registry that they're proposing, and we hope bringing in very soon, issues around relationships with other countries and how they interact in British Columbia and in Canada. For our part, we need to ensure, and we have worked to ensure, that Elections BC has all of the tools that they need to be able to ensure free and fair elections. We've ensured that they're able to get information from CSIS, from Canada's Spy Service, from the RCMP, and that they're able to take action if necessary through the tools that they have to ensure free and fair elections in the province. If there are other opportunities for us to strengthen that, we will not hesitate to take those steps. And we support all of the efforts of police, regulators, and CSIS, Canada's Spy Service, in ensuring that Canada is as free of foreign interference as possible.
Next, we'll head to Malin Jordan with the Cloverdale Reporter.
Hi, just had a quick question on the Cloverdale Hospital. There are a few obstacles at the beginning. You overcame those. What's been happening lately? Where's the hospital at? And how are things coming along?
The project behind me, it's beautiful. I had a tour not that long ago, and it's come along a fair distance since then. It is on time, it is on budget, and it's going to be a beautiful new addition to healthcare here south of the Fraser. I'm really excited to get it open as soon as possible, and I'm equally excited by the fact that the first class of Surrey's new medical school, the first new medical school in Western Canada in a generation, will be starting their courses this September, training up to be doctors to serve in this hospital and south of Fraser and communities across BC in the near future. So it's great. It looks awesome. I want it open as soon as possible.
So you're still on time. When will the first patient actually walk through the door?
Thanks. That's a great question. There are actually Fraser Health people here. I don't know if can I put you on the spot? Come on up. Yeah. Do you want to come up or no? Okay. Because we're here, the Fraser Health reps happen to be on the scene. Hard hat and busy vest in tow. Come on in.
February 2030 or sooner.
February 2030 or sooner. I guess I could have said that. Yeah. Thank you for coming out.
And that concludes today's event. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today.